with the Tribal GIS Support Center is I'm the president of the board with the organization. And as an organization, we were founded a number of years ago out of a basic need in Indian country that we were seeing GIS evolving, but we were seeing tribes repeatedly having to reinvent the wheel. No one was really communicating intertribally on a large scale. At regional level, there was some tribes talking, but at a national level, there really wasn't a unified voice. So the organization was kind of born out of just a grassroots kind of an idea of, we started off with a email listserv just to communicate information between tribes about GIS. And over the years, this has kind of evolved into a much larger organization now where we have in excess of 150 tribes participating. And one of the things that really ties in to what we're promoting as the Tribal GIS Organization with the youth here at the Indian Museum is the idea of educating and bringing in more tribal members or tribal youth particularly into the field of GIS. When we first started kind of evaluating, if you will, the level of GIS in Indian country, we knew that there was a lot of GIS projects taking place, but at the same hand we also seen repeatedly, especially with smaller tribes and in rural areas, that the expertise needed to perform the projects was typically folks that were, fresh out of college. They were needing experience, or they were from, various different backgrounds. But usually it was about the idea of they needed to get experience. And once they had that, they kind of moved on because it was, a remote area or a rural area. And we seen right away that in the communities that had people from the community, maybe not even necessarily tribal members, but people from within that community, there was a vested interest. So they would stay and they would continue on and the programs would develop and, very valuable things were happening. So we learned early on that we needed to come up with a mechanism to get more people involved in this kind of at that community level. So we started with a number of different approaches to that. One was working through the higher education side of things and reaching out and making those connections with, the available tribal colleges. We kind of figured out the path to where Native youth could, for a very low cost, actually get their, education all the way through to their bachelor's degree and beyond in GIS that they'd like. But we still, even at that, we had a low turnout of people wanting to enroll and take that path. So working with the youth here at the museum, it's enlightening to see this next generation that's willing to come in and kind of, take that idea of GIS and carry it forward, because we keep seeing it growing and growing. And by the time these guys are, making their way through college and considering what they're going to do, the need is going to be, threefold greater than it is now within tribal communities. So it's really encouraging to see these guys leading the pack.